So students, in our last class we have learnt gonads, that is endocrine gland. In gonads there are two, in male it is testis, in female it is ovary, which is a reproductive organ. About testis we have learnt in our last class in detail. Today we will learn one more reproductive organ, that is female reproductive organ, ovary. Okay, you can see there they are showing the structure of female reproductive system, and these are the two ovaries on either side. And when you take cross section of ovary, it looks like this. So it is a female primary sex organ which is required for production of egg in the ovary. You know this, in high school you have learnt it. A pair of ovaries are located in the abdomen, in the abdomen, stomach, lower abdomen. You can see that inside there are two ovaries, left and right side. Two ovaries are there on either side. It produces ovum during each menstrual cycle. Ovum means egg. Every month, during every menstrual cycle, what we call periods, every month, monthly cycle or menstrual cycle, every month one ovum or egg is produced. Ovum is singular, ova are plural, many are there, then ova. Ovum, single ovum is produced every month. Then where this ovary is formed of ovarian follicles and stromal tissue. Means if you take a cross section of ovary, what you see here, they are showing cross section of ovary. What it contains? It contains follicles. You already know what is the meaning, in last class I told you. That is very small round structure. Okay, then it starts growing in size. Then it contains egg inside or ovum inside. Ovarian follicles produce the follicles, what is there here on either side, here you can see these follicles produce estrogen, which is a steroid hormone. Estrogen, follicles produce estrogen, that is a steroid hormone. After ovulation, I told you meaning of ovulation, a release of egg. See here, this follicle containing egg inside ruptures or breaks, then all its content, watery content comes out, then egg is also released. That process is called ovulation. Once ovulation happens, the remaining part of the follicle will shrink, it will fold and become a yellow body. That is called corpus luteum. I told you in last class. The word corpus luteum means yellow body, yellow colored structure. That is called corpus luteum. It produces a steroid hormone called progesterone, which is important. So follicles produce estrogen and the corpus luteum produces progesterone hormone. Both are steroid hormones. Then what are the functions of estrogen hormone produced by follicles? First one, you can see the picture. That's why I am showing this PPT. Because I can just explain, but to get clear imagination, these pictures are required. The functions of estrogen is it stimulates growth and activities of female sex organs. You see, growth of female sex organ and activities of female secondary sex characters. What is secondary sexual character? That is enlargement of breast enlarges, then pubic hairs around the reproductive organs, around the vagina, around female reproductive system, hair will be produced. See, they are showing a girl who is not mature and a mature female. You can see the difference there. Here you can see the difference. Nipples are normal. Here breast is, this is flat, and here breast develops. Development of breast, that is secondary sexual character, and getting hairs around the reproductive organ. Here in this girl, hair is not there, but here you can see hair develops. Then periods start, menstrual cycle starts. All are secondary sexual characters. Like high pitch voice, in female voice, high pitch voice. Low pitch voice means rough, like bass voice you say. Like male will have low pitch, that is male voice will not be that melodious, rough. Female voice will be melodious, that is high pitch voice, sharp voice. Then sexual behavior is also because of estrogen. Development of mammary gland. Mammary gland, breast develops, then inside mammary glands also develop. That is function of estrogen. Okay, next we will see functions of progesterone. What function it does? Progesterone, which is produced by corpus luteum. You see, it supports pregnancy. It supports pregnancy because for pregnancy to start, the inner wall of uterus, that is endometrium, it has to be maintained. The endometrium should be rough. Then only embryo can attach. When embryo attaches to the rough wall of ovary, rough wall of uterus, that is endometrium, then only pregnancy starts. So it maintains or supports pregnancy. It acts on mammary glands to stimulate formation of alveoli. Alveoli is a bag-like structure, sac-like structure present in the breast or mammary gland. You can see that they are showing. Alveoli will secrete and store milk. In the breast, in female, in the breast, which part produces and stores milk? That is alveoli. Okay, alveoli is like a bag-like structure, small bag-like structure. There are many. Each one will produce milk and it will store milk, which is required to the baby. Okay, then next, other than these endocrine glands, we will see some hormones are produced by some other organs of the body. These are endocrine glands, what we have learned till now. Some other parts of the body, some organs of our body also produce hormones like heart, kidney and gastrointestinal tract. Heart also produces some hormones, then kidney produces some hormones, then gastrointestinal tract, gastric, word gastro means stomach, stomach and intestine, that is digestive tract together. Okay, it is gastrointestinal tract. They also produce some hormones. You already know this. Heart produces peptide hormone called ANF. You know this, atrial natriuretic factor, which is required for that is in kidney function. Then when blood pressure decreases, ANF causes dilation of blood vessel. You see, this is vasoconstriction, means blood vessel becomes narrow, less space in the blood vessel. Vasodilation means it widens, more space in the blood vessel. You already know this meaning, I have explained on the board. No, so for vasodilation and to decrease blood pressure, ANF is required. Then in the kidney there are special cells called JGA cells. You know this, that is juxtaglomerular cells. Okay, it produces hormone, which is a peptide hormone called erythropoietin. Okay, so JGA cells produce erythropoietin. It is required for erythropoiesis, that is formation of RBC. Production of or formation of red blood corpuscles in our body is called erythropoiesis. Okay, erythrocyte means red blood cells called erythrocytes. Erythropoiesis means formation of red blood cells. For that also this erythropoietin is required, which is produced by JGA cells of kidney. They also produce hormone. Okay, juxtaglomerular apparatus. Then intestinal tract, gastrointestinal tract, that is stomach and intestine also produce, stomach and intestine also produce some hormones. They produce some peptide hormones like gastrin. Word gastro means stomach. Gastrin, which stimulate gastric glands to produce HCl and pepsinogen. You have learnt in high school. That is, gastrin hormone is required for production of HCl, hydrochloric acid in the stomach, and also hormone enzyme pepsinogen. Then secretin is one more hormone which stimulates an exocrine pancreas to secrete water and bicarbonate. So secretin is one more hormone which is produced when it is produced, it stimulates exocrine part of pancreas to produce or to secrete water and bicarbonates, that is HCO3 minus. Then gastric inhibitory peptide, GIP, gastric inhibitory peptide. Name only says inhibit. It inhibits gastric secretion. Means HCl, hydrochloric acid, secreted by stomach, it stops. So HCl is not produced. Then cholecystokinin, also called CCK. Cholecystokinin, CCK, stimulates secretion of bile from gallbladder. You know this. To the liver, one part is there called gallbladder, like a pump, Gallbladder stores bile juice and pumps it. So cholecystokinin hormone is required for gallbladder to secrete bile and pancreatic enzymes from pancreas. If bile juice is released by the gallbladder and pancreas produces pancreatic enzymes, then this hormone is required. That is cholecystokinin hormone is required. Then some other non-endocrine tissues also secrete hormones called growth factors. Okay, this is required for normal growth of tissues and repairing or regeneration. Like sometimes some organ damages, okay, some tissue damages, for regeneration, for reformation of new tissue and for repairing the organ, these growth factors are required. That is non-endocrine tissues. Several other non-endocrine tissues also secrete hormones called growth factors. Why it is required? It is required for formation of damaged tissue. New tissue will be produced in that place, and for repairing or regeneration. If any organ or any tissue damages, repairing will be done by repairing, and reformation of or regeneration will be done by these growth factors. Okay, so again hormones are classified into types. Okay, hormones are classified into 4 types based on chemical nature. Like what type of chemicals are those hormones? Based on that, hormones are of 4 types. Okay, these are types of hormones. First one, peptide hormone or polypeptide hormone or protein hormones. They contain protein. Insulin, glucagon, pituitary hormones, hypothalamic hormones, all these hormones are peptide hormones, that is protein hormones. Peptide or polypeptide or protein hormones. Okay, first type is protein hormones. What all are protein hormones? Insulin, glucagon, pituitary hormone, hypothalamic hormone, all these are peptide hormones. And second type is steroids. Steroids like cortisol, testosterone, name only says steron, not steroids. Estradiol, then progesterone, name only says progesterone, no? So it's a steroid hormone. So these are steroids. And third is iodothioronins, which contains iodine, iodothioronins, that is thyroid hormones. Iodothyronin is third type of hormone. And fourth type of hormone is amino acid derivatives. They are produced by amino acids. That is adrenaline and noradrenaline, which is produced by adrenal gland. So these are the 4 types of hormones, like peptide hormones, steroids, iodothioronins, and amino acid derivatives. These are the 4 types of hormones. Now very important in this chapter is mechanism of hormone action. Did you think that how hormone can bring these work? Like we have learnt one hormone does many functions. How they can do these functions? How they show their action? Like if we say bullet kills one person, like a bullet fired from a gun or a rifle, it will kill the person. How it will kill? It will penetrate into the body, then it will tear the tissues, blood comes out, then it will toxicate that area, then it will kill. So that is a way, that is an action how bullet kills. Like how hormone does all the work, that is called mechanism of hormone action, how hormone actually works. Okay, let us see. They have given a picture here. This is what this is a cell and they are showing this is a nucleus. This slightly yellowish part what you see is a cytoplasm, and this is the outer plasma membrane, and this is a nucleus. This different color what you see, this is a nucleus. Okay, so this is outer cell membrane or plasma membrane, then this is cytoplasm, and this is nucleus. Okay, what exactly happens you see there, they are showing steroid hormone here, that orange color structure, that is steroid hormone. What exactly it does? Hormone produce their effects by binding to specific proteins called hormone receptors. Means when a hormone comes near the cell should receive it. Actually cell will not receive. On the outer surface of cell, on the plasma membrane of cell, some special proteins will be there that is meant for receiving the hormone. Their structure is like this. They are meant for receiving it. Okay, that means their structure is like this. When a hormone comes, it will bind like this. Okay, it will bind like this. So that is called receptors. They are called hormone receptor. Name only says receptor means which receives. So when hormone comes near the cell, the special receptor, okay, that will receive it, located in the target tissues. Target tissue means which hormone, okay, one type of hormone acts only on one type of tissue or organ, because whatever hormone is there, according to the shape, opposite shape will be there for the receptors. This is same like enzyme and substrate, lock and key. Like have you ever thought, like you take tablet for headache, it will cure only headache, not toothache. ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ತಲೆನೋವು ಬಂದರೆ ನೀವು ತಲೆನೋವಿನ ಟ್ಯಾಬ್ಲೆಟ್ ತೊಗೋತೀರ, ತಲೆನೋವು ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹಲ್ಲು ನೋವು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ವೈ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ the tablet molecules, its shape will be exactly opposite to receptor present on the head portion. So head ಅಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ರಿಸೆಪ್ಟರ್ ಅದರ ಶೇಪ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ಯಾಬ್ಲೆಟ್ ಶೇಪ್ ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, so that it binds only to the head and cures only headache. But receptors present on the tooth, area of tooth, that shape is different, and headache tablet molecule shape is different, so it doesn't bind. So it is targeted tissues. So why one type of hormone works only on that type of organ? Because the shape of receptor should be exactly opposite. You see here, this is a hormone and this is a receptor. They are having exactly opposite shapes. This is a receptor and this is a hormone, so exactly it binds like this. So you can see that binding here. See here, this is a orange color part is hormone and this is a receptor. So it formed a hormone receptor complex. A hormone binds to specific receptor from hormone receptor complex. Hormone binds to receptor and forms a hormone receptor complex. Okay, then what it does? It leads to biochemical changes in the target tissues and thereby regulate metabolism and physiological functions. Exactly what it does, when it comes there inside, it binds to DNA. Okay, DNA produces mRNA. That process is called transcription. Next year you will learn. Double stranded DNA becomes single stranded RNA. You see here, this is DNA, it becomes RNA. RNA becomes a protein. This is a new protein produced. Okay, so this protein will bring changes. That is what we call functions. So one function has to be done, then what has to do? Hormone should come and bind to receptor, a receptor will bind to the DNA, DNA produces RNA, RNA produces new protein, and protein does the work. Simple, I repeat. Hormone binds to receptor, receptor binds to DNA, DNA produces RNA, RNA produces new protein, and new protein will do the function. This is how the action will be done. Then one more action is there. If it is based on two types of receptors. Like receptors are of two types. First type is membrane bound receptor, other one is intracellular receptor. Meaning first type of receptor is present on the outer membrane of the cell and second type is present inside the cell. Then what will happen? There are two types of receptors. One is present on the outer surface of the cell, on the boundary, and other one is present inside the cell. So which is present outside the cell we call membrane bound, means attached to the membrane, and second one is called intracellular, means inside the cell. Okay, you can see there. So this is the red color part, what they are showing is a receptor. This is a outer wall or outer membrane. They are present on the membrane. Here it is present, this is the cell, no? They are present inside, so inside the cell. This is what, this is a outer plasma membrane, this is cytoplasm, and this is nucleus. Here receptor is present on the membranes, that's why they are membrane bound receptors. This is present inside the nucleus, inside the cell, so it is intracellular, means inside the cell. So membrane bound, first one, and this is inside the cell. Okay, so let us see, if it is a membrane bound receptor, how that hormone will show its action. Number one, you can see here, this is the membrane they are showing. Okay, I will go there. They are showing this is a membrane, this is the outer plasma membrane, and this is a receptor, and this blue color what they are showing is a hormone. Okay, the hormone comes and binds to the receptor. This is what membrane, this is ovarian membrane, that is cell membrane of ovary. Then what happened there? Hormone binds to receptor present on the membrane, outer cell membrane. Then it shows a response. That response is by producing secondary messengers. That is one kind of molecule. Why it is called secondary messenger? Because primary messenger is a hormone and receptor. Already first it received, that means message is received. This is second time receiving, so it is a secondary messenger. What all are secondary messengers? Cyclic AMP, that is cyclic adenosine monophosphate, and calcium ions, Ca2+, they are secondary messengers. Understand, okay? This is a cell, this is the outer membrane of the cell, there is a receptor. When hormone binds to membrane receptor, membrane bound receptor, then it shows response 1. Then by producing secondary messenger, cyclic AMP and calcium, then they will produce biochemical response, means they will show production of new compound, new chemicals, and that new chemicals will bring change in the physiology, that is ovarian growth. Ovary starts growing. So if simple step, if ovary should start growing, how hormone will do that work? Hormone comes and binds to membrane, produces response 1, then produces secondary messengers like cyclic AMP or calcium, that produces biochemical response, then physiological change. Physiological change means ovary starts growing. I hope you understood. Andre ovary develop agli start agbekanದ್ರೆ ಅದೊಂದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್. ಆ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? That function will be started by hormone. Hormone binds to membrane receptor, that produces response, then that produces secondary messenger, cyclic AMP or calcium, that will show biochemical response by producing new chemical. That new chemical will make physiological response or change, that is ovary starts developing. Okay, this is mechanism of hormone action. When it is a protein hormone, ಇದು protein hormone ಆದರೆ. Okay, let us see one more, that is steroid hormone. This is in case of membrane bound receptor, what kind of action it does. You can see here hormone, for example FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, binds to the receptor. You can see that blue color part hormone binds to, this is a membrane, it binds to receptor, then receptor and protein comes inside, then what happened there? It produces hormone receptor complex, produces response 1, which produces secondary messengers like cyclic AMP and calcium, produces biochemical response, then that produces physiological response, that is ovarian growth. Otherwise, just now what we have learned, same thing, they just explained with the help of diagram. Then what if it is intracellular receptor? What we have learned previously is membrane bound receptor. What membrane bound receptor does? Hormone binds to the membrane, that is receptor of the membrane, then hormone receptor complex is produced, then it produces response 1 which generates secondary messengers like cyclic AMP and calcium, then that will bring biochemical response that produces new chemical, that new chemical will bring physiological change, that is ovary starts growing. And second, if it is intracellular receptor, then what? If it is intracellular receptor, hormone is there, you see there, hormone green color they are showing, they entered the cell where no membrane bound receptors, no receptor on the membrane. So directly they will enter the cell, then directly comes to nucleus and binds to DNA. When it binds to DNA, DNA produces RNA, mRNA, then mRNA produces protein, that protein will do the function. Simple. See, I will explain once again. Okay, you can see this chart if you want. If it is a membrane bound protein, first hormone will come and bind to the receptor of the membrane, then it becomes a hormone receptor complex, then that will produce primary response inside the cell. That primary response will produce secondary messengers like cyclic AMP and calcium, then that will bring a biochemical change, that is new chemical is produced, that biochemical change will bring physiological change, that is ovary starts growing. If it is intracellular receptor, directly hormone goes into the cell, into the nucleus, binds to DNA, DNA produces mRNA, mRNA produces protein. Okay, that protein produces change, means protein will do the function. Okay, you should know, next year you are going to learn that next step what I told you, that is DNA producing mRNA is called transcription, and mRNA which produces protein is called translation. Next year you are going to learn in detail. Then, so final product of any gene or DNA is protein only. That protein will bring the change. That what change? Tissue growth and differentiation. Here work is what? Tissue growth and differentiation. Tissue should start growing and differentiation should happen. For that function, how hormone helps? Simple. Hormone directly enters the nucleus, binds to DNA, DNA produces mRNA, that is transcription, mRNA produces protein, that is translation, then protein will do that function. That is called physiological response. Physiological response means change in the physiology. So tissue growth will happen. Okay, this is what is the chapter. So with this chemical coordination and integration chapter we finished. Okay, beautifully with pictures. As this is YouTube class, you can see this class again and again. Okay, if some point is you have not understood or you want to see that again and again, you can see these classes as it is YouTube. Okay, beautifully I have explained, and I didn't go fast at all. I went very slowly. You know me very well. So in next class, only one chapter is remaining in the retaining portion, that is structural organization in animals. In that chapter also cockroach part is not there. So only earthworm and frog is there. So structural organization in animals if I teach next, then retaining portion is over. First year PUC, what portion was given by PU board is over. Then next only deleted part remains. Deleted, like because of COVID-19, they had deleted some chapters, only that 30% chapters, that only remains. That also we will discuss slowly. Okay, so all 22 chapters we will discuss, but next one chapter if I finish, first year's my responsibility of teaching retaining portion is over. Then one more responsibility I have, that is deleted chapter also I should teach. Actually the deleted chapter they said we should teach as a bridge course, but I don't believe in all these bridge courses and all. So we will learn slowly. You don't have to worry. For other classes of first PUC, I mean, they are going to teach when college starts. first year deleted part, but I will not wait till then. I will start after finishing this next chapter. I will continuously go. Along with that, second year chapters, I think it will go according to the timetable. Like Wednesday 2 hours, Saturday 2 hours, they have given a timetable. That will go as it is. So because this deleted portion and all the students will not see, because they will not, some students will not write NEET. So for them these deleted chapters are not required, because PU board said they directly passed first PUC, so they may not see that. But it is my responsibility to teach, so I will teach that. Okay, so I will teach all 22 chapters of first PUC. Now if I teach one more chapter, structural organization in animals, retaining portion for first PUC is over, then only deleted part remains. Okay, so slowly we will learn it, and first PUC deleted chapters I will teach, and that will come in the videos will come in the evening after 5 o'clock, so I will not disturb the timetable. And on every Wednesday and Saturday 2 hours, 2 hours, so totally 4 hours in a week. Wednesday 2 hours, Saturday 2 hours. Second PUC chapters already I have started, you know. Reproductive health chapter, that is 4th chapter, videos I have already sent to you. I hope you have seen 4 videos. Second video is just 13 minutes video. So 4 videos I have sent. Next week and all I will not send 4 videos. I will send 2 or 3. Then we will have interaction also on reproductive health chapter. Okay, so keep watching my classes. Thank you.